I do this because I love doing it and I want to see you succeed. But entitlement mindset, whether you think you should be able to do this faster than you are learning to do it, or that I should do more than I already am, come on, man. That's not realistic either. And there's a lot of personalities that come into this industry. And as a mentor, believe me, anybody that's listening here that's a mentor or teacher, a guru, a salesman, or a course seller, I guarantee you have dozens of people that you wish never, ever came into your fold or ever name, because they're just a mental drain. You can't help them. Are you that way in your trading? Because if you are, I promise you, you will never be able to hold on to these big runners because you have a lot of mental baggage. So you have to make sure you clear all that stuff before you even try to do these types of things. If you're trying to measure up to somebody else, if you're trying to be better than the other person's service, if you're trying to create a product that's better than somebody else's, all those things are going to lead you to do things that you're really not equipped to do. And you really just want to be able to chance it to see if you could do it and then sell the idea that you do it all the time. Because as soon as you start doing it once in a while, your audience is going to say, you know what? Why aren't you doing it like you did before? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? That's the way social media is. You're never going to satisfy anyone. So you might as well fucking be satisfying yourself. What is the threshold? As you as a trader, where are you going to be most efficient? Efficient about your time doing it, how much time you're going to put into the charts, graduating into that, holding on to a long, big runner. That big runner, you're fucking years away from getting in with your full position and holding on for these big runners. I'm being honest with you. You are fucking years, 1,000 fucking days minimum. If you started today, counting today, day one, you're at least 1,000 days away. And I'm talking market days, not weekends too. Before you get to that point, now that doesn't mean you can't get in with one contract and get out there next week and take 100 handles down. Yeah, sure, you can do that. That's reasonable. But when you start building up these larger positions, whether it be a funded account challenge or whether it be now you're funded with a company or you're trading with real money, those things are going to be heavyweight factors on your psyche because you're going to be constantly worrying about, did I do this right? You're going to know that you did it too soon. Guaranteed it's going to happen. You're going to feel that. You're going to feel it. And it's going to cloud your mind. You won't even be able to know when the market's telling you, I'm not going to do that. But you want it to be so badly delivered into your hands. You won't see it. You will not see it. And you'll hold on to it too long. And the worst case scenario, which is what you're trying to avoid, will actually happen. It will come back and roll against you. And that nice, big, handsome profit you had that was unrealized and you knew you should have fucking got out, at least with a partial, you didn't do it. So now what are you doing? You're kicking yourself in the ass about that. You're not ready. You're not ready. It doesn't mean you're never going to get there. It just means that you haven't desensitized yourself. You work up into it slowly. Now, partials, and I'll say this in closing, partials are a huge, huge benefit to, number one, developing students because it teaches proper money management and proper trade management. And it helps you grow as a trader. It helps you understand risk. It helps you navigate order flow. It teaches you liquidity and how to implement it in your trades. But the thing is, there's no perfect, I don't have it. There's no perfect way of saying, okay, this is how many contracts you should start with. And when you get to your first target, this is how many you take off as a first partial. This is how many contracts. I have straight students from 2016 that were paid membership students. They send me emails and they'll say, hi, ICT. Thank you so much for everything you're doing. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm really having a hard time. Can you tell me, this is the third time they sent this email over the number of years it's been. Like I somehow forgot. Like I can see their email thread. When they send me an email, it's right there. And They know who they are, and I'm not making fun of you. I'm not saying your names, so don't be embarrassed. But there is no, and I'm telling you openly, there is no recipe that's going to be appropriate for everyone. That's the part that you bring into it. That's your personality. So you start with one contract. That means when you get to a first threshold of profitability for a partial, which if you had more than one contract or one lot of one, if it's a Forex position, the way you condition yourself to grow as a trader, when it gets to that first threshold, you close the trade. Wait a minute. Your target's somewhere beyond that. You just told me to get out where the first partial was. Yeah. If you have not found consistency yet, that's what I teach my students to do. And then you do that each time using lower time frame charts, because you're going to get lots of setups. That way you can do it a lot over the course of 1 month. If you're trying to do those types of trades with a 4-hour chart, it's going to take a long fucking time. And I ain't got that kind of patience. You might think I have the patience of a saint, but I don't. You don't either when you start messing around with it. So you graduate. And when you get to the point where you can hold on to that first idea with one contract to the first partial, and then you can get 2 contracts or 2 lots as a Forex trader, then you take one off at your first partial and then you reach for the next partial. Then you close it there too, and still not get to your target. What is it teaching you? You don't have to be right. What is it teaching you? To pay yourself. What is it teaching you? Hold it for 2 stages of liquidity. Now when you can trade to 3 contracts, you take one off at one partial, second off at the second partial, and you roll your stop to a point at which you're comfortable if you get stopped out. What is that? It might be break even. Others, it might be $200. It might be some specific dollar amount. Whatever that is, whatever that minimum expectation that if you get knocked out of the trade, you don't care. It's not going to hurt your feelings. You're not going to beat yourself up about it. But can you understand how many people listen to me? All around the world. There's lots of you. You're all coming from different walks of life, different income, different careers. Some of you had very stressful lives. Some of you just got out of fucking prison. You think about it. There's different walks of life all around in this community. And I don't have a specific recipe for telling you how much to take off in partials. But in the beginning, it's start with 1. When you get to your first target of where a partial would be, you get out and you keep doing that. And it feels good because then you get to see, does it really go to my target? And then when you journal that, it gives you experience. So now apply that to doing these big runners. That's all you're doing. But see, what you're trying to do is you're skipping over a lot of necessary, conditioning. And Patrick, you train with weights. Can you go out there and bench press 500 fucking pounds right now? I bet you $10,000 you can't do it. And that's not to demean you. It's just, that's the equivalent of when I watch you, I'm seeing you grow. Like I'm literally seeing you transform from what you were a couple years ago. And I didn't watch you then, but I can see the videos and stuff you did back then. You're totally different now. And I asked you to do a video and talk about what it is that you have done to change. And this is what my observation is. And I don't mean anything to be ignorant. I'm just sharing something as an observation. And I'm quite certain a lot of your audience and my audience would agree. These are the characteristics I see in your trading. I see that you, number one, understand liquidity now that you didn't. When you were trading in 2021 and in the beginnings of 2022, it wasn't there. Now you focus on where the market can likely draw to. That liquidity, that's the secret sauce. You have to have some kind of understanding about where the market's likely to go, because I don't give a shit what you use. If you don't have that right, you're not making money, period. End of story. So I've seen that transformation in your trading. Sometimes you second guess it, and that's normal because you're still finding yourself. But you have a very simplistic entry model. And that's proving something I've already taught many times over before. The entry is the least important thing. Literally, it's the least important thing. But knowing what's likely to be seen as a target or a draw on liquidity, where the market reaches for, that is where I think you're shining now. You weren't doing those things in the past, as far as I could tell. And I might be incorrect, and you're welcome to correct me in any kind of public response or whatever. But I think that the direction you're going in, if you just slow down in terms of how much you're trying to bite off, like you could be huge on YouTube, like huge, really big. Just slow down what you're trying to accomplish in terms of, I got to get to 100-point handle runs. I got to do that. I got to do that. That's great as a goal, but graduate into it. Like literally graduate into it. When you have an $8,000 trade running and you're admitting that you're struggling because you want to hold on to these big runs, when it gets $8,000, bro, get the fuck out. Do that every time it gets to $8,000. Well, if it goes to 6,000, get out. Believe me, your fucking audience is not going to say, what a dumbass, he just made $6,000. That's never going to happen. Just like nobody can complain about a partial not being profitable. But because you're in front of an audience and you're trying to entertain also, you're losing sight of what the fuck you're doing this for, is to make fucking money. And that's a reminder for all of you listening. If you're trading, if you're pushing a button, the result should be you're making money. That's it. Not that I impress the people that watch me. Fuck everybody that watches me. Seriously, I don't give a fuck if you like me. Okay? If I'm pushing a button and I'm taking on risk, the end of that trade, I better fucking make money. I don't care if you like my post. I don't care if you like my management of the trade. I don't give a shit. Because whether you like what I did or whether you didn't like it, if I didn't do something I didn't feel I should have done or didn't do something I should have done, I'm beating my ass up mentally over that. You could never troll me. Any of you could never troll me as hard as I do myself if I know I did something incorrectly. But when you open yourself up to signal services, standing in front of the world saying, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to trade this, I'm going to trade that. Seriously, you have now literally multiplied the difficulty into a realm that is absolutely fucking insane. Because you're literally inviting everybody else to openly critique you if you're watching and looking at it. And if your disposition is combative, that's me. Patrick, that's you. Vinny, that's you. You're increasing the level of difficulty for you to focus on what it is that you're really doing this for, which is make money. I've watched both of you literally get into fabulous fucking trades. Fabulous. And then later on, that wasn't enough. You weren't content with it. You went and did more. Or you had open profits. You had it right there. And you both have said, I just want to get a little bit more. As soon as you fucking say that, as soon as you feel that fucking impulse, I'm telling you, this is what I did to fix me. That King Kong moment, this is exactly what Larry Williams said. And I know I'm probably going to get a knock on my door. My wife's going to be like, it's 9 o'clock, motherfucker. It's time. I'll wait until that happens. I know I'm pushing it. But Larry Williams said that, if you ever get this impulse when you're in a trade and you whip out the calculator, and you're like, I'm going to figure out how many, if I do this, if I hold on to it this much more, and if I hold on to this and I don't take much off of the position, I hold on to everything, I'm going to be able to make this much money. As soon as you start changing your mind about what you think it's likely to do, or how far it's going to go beyond what you thought, or for me, if I feel any kind of vibration because of experience, and you both have experience, you've been doing it longer than most of these people out here, you know yourself. And because you both live stream, you've shown your tell, like you've shown it. And I don't know if you realize it or not, but as soon as you say it out your mouth, I don't know if I should, that's it. Close the fucking trade. You are managing your money. You're managing the risk. You're managing your trade. And guess what you're also doing? You're managing the expectation of your audience properly. That means you are seeing something. Your audience is watching you. And then now what are you doing? You're taking the action on saying, okay, I am no longer able to focus on this. It doesn't mean you suck as a trader. It doesn't mean that your concepts blow. It just means that you, as the operator, working in that market environment in front of fucking an audience that's live and watching you, critiquing you, you now have to pull the plug on the trade. And guess what you're doing? You're pulling the fucking trade at the height of the profitability while you're in the trade. You two aren't the only one. I've seen other YouTubers doing this shit. They don't even trade like me. They don't trade like neither one of you. But they have these positions on. And as soon as you see them or hear them, question whether or not that they should hold onto the trade. As soon as you start thinking, I hope. As soon as you say hope, that's it. The fucking trade's done. Close it. And if it runs to your target, who gives a fuck? You closed at whatever you closed at. 90% of everybody else out there on YouTube are fucking doing their own asses in. They can't find their own fucking way. So because you want to be out there in front of the audience doing that, I'm telling you, somebody that's been doing it longer than both of you motherfuckers, I'm telling you, you both could be absolutely fucking phenomenal. But you are bringing in all the wrong things, whether it be an ego, whether it be competition, thinking you want to expose me as a fraud, or you want to prove that I don't trade with real money, or this, that, and I think I got more people following me and I'm a demo trader. It doesn't make any sense. All that's secondary bullshit, bro. Like you have an audience. Both of you have an audience. You both can do so much better if you just focus on what the fuck you're doing. And when you get these little vibrations that tell you, you know what's probably turning, close it. I've been doing it longer, and I would not look at that as weakness. But you probably think it's weakness. Oh, I got another trade, I bailed. Who the fuck is going to sit around and say, you're in thousands of dollars in profit and you collapsed it at the height of the trade, right then and there. It went further, but that's a failure. Nobody would say that. There ain't nobody out here that has common sense is going to look at someone in a position, start to finish, and they have thousands of dollars in equity and they close the trade. No one is ever going to say that's a fuck up. No one's ever going to say that's a failure. No one is ever going to say you did that wrong. And if they did, they're full of shit. But because you're trying to make these monumental Olympic-sized feats, the real sole reason what you're doing it for, you've made this something other than trading. You've made it an action movie. You've made it I don't know. You've lost the plot. And so many of my students and everybody else out there that teaches, I'm sure you have students too, that have done this shit. They lose the plot. You're in this to make money. You grow from a starting point that's rather modest, and you graduate over time, adding a little bit more and a little bit more. And you may discover that you won't become a 100-handle trader, but you can beat the fucking socks off of 30 and 40 handle runs. And you can find them all week long, up, down, sideways, everywhere. But a 100-handle run might not be your thing. It doesn't mean you shouldn't try to reach for it. But you can't do it with a 1-minute chart, a 3-minute chart. You have to have a higher time frame perspective. You have to have something beyond the intraday. Well, lay of the land has to be larger than what you're looking at when it's a small little tiny interval. If you don't have that frame, and I've talked about this actually in